Hello, friends, and welcome to Pathologic, Volume 5, Episode 5. It is our first supersized puzzle of this volume, and as always with these, we have seen the puzzle type before, so you can go back in the archive and solve the smaller version as a warm-up, or you can just barrel ahead and watch me tackle this larger version right after we take a look at the rules. Yajilin is both a loop puzzle and a shading puzzle. The rules are as follows. Shade some cells so that no two cells are orthogonally adjacent, and draw a non-intersecting loop through the centers of all of the remaining empty cells. So, you can see here that we have a loop much like we saw in a simple loop puzzle that goes through all of the cells except a few of them that we have marked as shaded, so they're basically obstacles that the loop has to go around. Also, the no two shaded cells are orthogonally adjacent, meaning they are not adjacent horizontally or vertically. Diagonally is allowed. Clues cannot be shaded. These are the clues. And they represent the number of shaded cells in a straight line in the indicated direction between the clue and the border of the puzzle. Clues see through each other. So that's saying, this 2 is saying that between this clue and the edge of the grid, there are exactly 2 shaded cells. It does not count the whole row, just in the direction of that arrow. And if this had been arranged so that, let's say, this 0 were one cell to the left of where it is, the 0 clue would be applying to the whole column because it sees through other clues. It would be saying that this is not shaded, this is not shaded, this is not shaded. As it is, these 2 clues don't see each other, so that doesn't apply in this example. But you can see from the example solution that we do have a complete loop that goes through all of the cells, that this clue sees no shaded cells and this clue sees 2 shaded cells. It's okay to have shaded cells that are seen by no clues, like this one right here. Those are the rules of Yajilin, so it's time to solve a puzzle. Today's Yajilin puzzle was set by Shye. I'm going to look at, what do I see in the grid so far? I see a 0, so let's mark that right away. No squares in there. I see an interesting pattern, 1, 2, 3 here, all pointing the same direction. So what that's going to mean is there's exactly 1 black cell in this span, which means there's exactly 1 in this span, which means there's exactly 1 in this span. Don't know quite what to do with that yet, but that does look like that's going to be important at some point. We have some corners where there's no place we could put we couldn't put a shaded cell in the corner, because if we did, there would be a dead end there, which is not allowed. So therefore, this is not shaded, and the loop has to go in there, and it has to come out both sides. So we can do that in both of these corners. This 4, yep, that's fully constrained. There's only one way to pack 4 black cells in there. And we got a 1 pointing at the edge, so that is definitely shaded. And the cells next to the black cells have to be unshaded, so the loop has to come into those. And the same is going to be true for all of these gaps through the middle, for these corners at the bottom, and that's going to give us these corners, and these corners, and those corners. Those are the only ways that the path can enter and exit those cells. So we can draw those right in. Let's see, I see this 2 clue. In order to fit 2 black cells up here, one of them could go in this domino, but then the other has to go here, no matter what. And we need these 2 cells to both be part of the loop, so the loop has to enter and exit both of those. This little loop needs to get out twice and it can only do that here and here, which means this in the middle must be a shaded cell. Let's see. There are some things that we know about wide open regions like this corner. This cell can't be shaded because if it were, we'd have a dead end here. Same thing is true here. So we can do that in corners, so the same thing is going to be true over here, that this is not shaded. That puts a black cell in this domino somewhere. Excuse me. Let's see. Are there any of these stretches that can't have a black square? Not yet. We need to fit 3 more in this whole area. Okay, I see. We have two endpoints of the loop in this 3x3 region. And there's only one more place that the loop could enter or exit. And so it doesn't, because if it did, then we'd have a dead end somewhere. These two have to eventually connect to each other. So that means that the loop doesn't come through here, and therefore this must be shaded. And since this is shaded, we need the loop to enter the cells on either side of it, which will mean that this either connects through here or through here. And we know which one because of this one clue. This has to be shaded, and this has to come around like that. Okay. This takes care of this one clue, so neither of those are shaded. Which means that the loop has to enter and exit this one like so. It has to come through this tunnel, which makes this one shaded. And nearly done the left side of the grid. This part of the loop needs to escape somewhere. I can only do that through here. And once we do that, these two either connect to each other or they loop down here. And if they connected to each other, we'd end up with 2 unvisited squares next to each other. Can't do that. So this is going to connect up like so. Let's see. This 2 clue is defined now. Only one spot for the other one, which means this cell gets visited. This gets visited somehow. This brown comes up. The 2, oh, these are gonna, this is nice. These are kind of dancing back and forth. So this 2 clue is done now. The loop has to come down through here. The loop has to visit this cell, which means now the 3 is defined. And oh, that's lovely. And then this cell has to get visited. This cell has to get visited, and this 3 is defined. And those just ping pong back and forth to each other. We can't close the loop early here, so this comes out this direction. We've done the full bottom part of the loop. This 3 clue might be done. Almost. This domino is one of them, and then these 2 are the other 2. So the loop does come out both of these directions. It visits this cell. It comes through here. Let's see. So one of these is the other 3. One of these is the other one of the 2. One of these is the one for the 1. There are a lot of dominoes we're left with in the grid. This cell has to be visited because it's next to this, so I should mark both of these. This cell has to be visited, so it's going to be like that. Now this has to go like that. We got another corner right here that is visited, so it does that. I can probably determine which of these is connected up. If this went to the right, then the pink line would be a dead end. So this goes up and to the right. And we're all connected up there. And now I think we know what the 2 clue does. The domino's been resolved, so there is an unvisited cell there. The loop has to come out in both ways. Don't close it early. This cell is visited. And we are nearly done. This 3 we still have a domino here, and we still have a domino here. This one's down to 3 options. This is down to lots of options. This cell can't be the black one because then we'd have a dead end here. That narrows this down a little bit. Is that true about any others where that would end up being a problem? If no, not what I was going to say there. Which of these two is a problem? If this were shaded, here we go. If this were shaded, this would have to connect here, and we'd be left with a dead end there. So this is not shaded, so this 3 clue is completed by this one being shaded. And that completes here. This has to be visited. This is a tunnel now. We go through here. This would be a dead end, so it must be shaded, which means this is visited here. The 1 clue is now done. I think that was the missing piece. This 1 clue is done. It's right there. These 2 have to be visited. We can't. This right here can't. This cell can't go up and down, or we'd have a closed loop. So it does go to the west. This clue. Oh, did I speak too soon? Is there another thing to figure out? If this went north, this is simple loop logic. If this went north, it would, this would have to close early. So it doesn't go north, it goes south, which will define the rest of what happens up here. This cell has to be visited, and we can't go straight through here or we'd close too early. So this goes to the east, so this goes west, this goes south, and this is unvisited. And that is how we solve a Yajilin.